to our last day of our video for SBAC, day 10. The topic is on algebra and functions 2. Okay, our first question for day 10 is number 12. The graph shows a quadratic function f of x and a cubic function g of x. Select all values that are approximate solution of the equation f of x equal to g of x. So then actually we're looking for when these two functions intersect. If we go over the graph, so we have this point and this point, right? So this is -2, that -4, so in between that's a -3. So this point is very close to -3. So based on our choices, so we have this point here, -2.7, and this point here, so this is a -1, so this a little bit to the left of -1, so it's closer to 1.3, and there are no other intersection points, so our solution are D and E. Okay, let's move on to number 13. The floor plan for the indoor living space of Melissa's cabin is shaded in the diagram. Melissa wants to build a square observation deck in opposite corner, so the living space and the observation deck create a rectangle. The area of the living space shaded region is 220 square feet. Well, if we look at our diagram, we can figure out the area. So the area is x plus 7 times x plus 15, and we see that this is equal to the observation deck plus the living area. So the observation deck is 2x squared because we have this area and this area. Plus we're given that the living area is 226 square feet. So if let me erase some of these out. Okay, so if we were to do for the expression on the left, we would get an x squared plus 22x plus 105 equal to 2x squared plus 226 on the right. And we want to move everything over to the right, so we have 0 equal to x squared minus 22x plus 121. Okay, and then factor this out, so this gives x minus 11 times x minus 11. So to solve it, so we say that x is equal to 11. Right, so then go back to our diagram. So we put this is 11, 11, and 11 for x's. So the distance for this part is 18. So distance for this part is 26. Oops, my mistake, not 28, but 26. Okay, so then from there we can answer our bullet point. So the width, shortest side of the rectangle created by the living space and the observation deck is 22 feet. So this is false. The longest size of the rectangle created by the living space and the observation deck is 26 feet. So this is true. The area for each observation deck is 100 square feet. Well, if x is 11, so 11 times 11, this is 121, and this is also 121. So this is also false. Okay, so let's move on to number 14. So for number 14, all of those equations look like an exponential equation, right? So the question asks us, determine whether each function represents exponential growth or decay. So even before we start looking for growth and decay, so let's understand what growth means, right? So then our exponential equation will be y equal to a b to x power. If b is greater than 1, then it's a growth. And if b is somewhere between 0 and 1, then it's a decay. Right, so all we have to do is look at the b part. So then 2 over 3 is less than 1, so this is a decay. And 5 over 4, so greater than 1, so then it's a grow. And 4 over 5 is less than 1, and so this is a decay. And 3 over 2 greater than 1, so it's a grow. 7 over 5 is greater than 1, so this is also grow. But be careful with part F, right? Because we have the negative exponent, which means that we can rewrite this as the reciprocal, so 5 over 7 raised to the power of 2x. So 5 over 7 is less than 1. So this is a decay. Okay, so I need you guys to be careful when you look at this. When you have a negative exponent, you have to do the reciprocal of the b part or the base part. Right? Okay, so let's go on to number 15. Okay, when I look at number 15, it's kind of tricky. Right? So 15 is that use the graph f of x, use the graph h of x given the function h of x is equal to the f function plus the g function. Okay, before we do this, let's find out the function for f of x first, right? So if we look at this point, that's our vertex. So our vertex is at 1, 0. And if you look at this point here, if we shift 1 to the left and we go 1 up, so then our a is also a 1. So the function f of x can be written as a x minus x squared plus k. So this is equal to 1 times x minus 1 squared, and the k is a 0. And for our function g of x, so this is the vertex for g, and is at -2, 0. So then to find out where a is, we can go 1 to the right and 1 down. So that means that a is a -1. So the function for g is equal to negative x plus 2 squared. Right, so and we want our h of x equal to the function f of x plus the function g of x. So then this gives us x minus 1 squared plus x plus 2 squared. So this gives us x minus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus x squared plus 4x plus 4. And oh, my mistake, there's a negative for g, so let me include the negative there. So then all of these should have a negative sign. All right, so combine like terms, so then x squared minus x squared become 0. Negative 2x and negative 4x give us a negative 6x. And 1 negative 4 give us a negative 3. So then this is the function for h of x. Okay, so I need more room to graph, right? Let's see. So let me erase this part out. Okay, so let me rewrite our x of x is equal to negative 6x minus 3. So let me erase this so I can have room for our graph. So then to graph this, we start out with a negative 3 is our y intercept, and the slope is negative 6. We go down 6, but then there's no space, and then I'm going to rewrite our slope as 6 over -1. So that means I'm gonna go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go left 1. So this is our graph for H.